Hi there, Melissa B. Duarte here. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to tackle major English speaking struggles for ESL professionals across the globe. Now, these are areas of pronunciation that a lot of ESL professionals find keep them back in their pronunciation, and people do struggle to understand what they're saying only because of pronunciation. So this is not going to be a deep video because a deep video on each of these topics would be hours long. So I'm going to identify each of these areas of pronunciation that most ESL students struggle with when they're presenting themselves professionally, and I'll go through each of these a little bit, and then I'll have other videos that have these going deeper into each one. But first, we're going to start with all the key points and what you need. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Melissa B. Duarte. I'm the author of the Global Business English Mastery Series, and I also do run private one-on-one coaching sessions. I have brought some students to native speaking level, so I'm very good at fine-tuning pronunciation, and I also do run master classes in business English. Anyways, enough about me. Let's jump in to the key parts of pronunciation that ESL professionals need to work on. Let's get started. Okay, the first one is word stress. Word stress is really tricky for a lot of people because in your native language, the word stress could be different from what it is in English. This is like saying record and record. The word is written the same. Record is the noun, record is the verb, or present and present. I did do an entire video on word stress. It's actually not a very long video. I will pin it here in the comments. So knowing the correct word stress is very helpful. I have a situation from a student many years ago, and she was talking about renting a place in Florida, and she said she was worried about the alligators when she was there. And I just, worried about what? And can you repeat that, please? And she goes, I'm worried about the alligators in the area. And I had no idea what she was saying. Well, she was saying alligators. And just only because the word was stressed incorrectly, my ear did not pick up on the correct word. So word stress is very important. So this is when you're saying a word, make sure you're saying the right word. Content, content. They're completely different words in English. Content is what's in something. This contract has fantastic content. I'm very content with your work. Content means happy. So if you're saying content for content or vice versa, people will understand what you're saying. Again, this is only word stress. This isn't really not like you don't know the word. You're just stressing the word incorrectly. So word stress is very important. Okay, the next one is sentence rhythm. English is a very melodical language. We do go up and down and we do sing our notes. Now in English, content words are stressed and function words are not stressed. Now a content word would be a noun, a main verb, an adjective, an adverb. Function words are your articles, your bits of grammar like prepositions, auxiliaries. They're usually unstressed. The reason this matters is if you're stressing every single word with the same stress, the same importance, an English speaker's ear would have a hard time catching on what's important here. What am I listening to? We don't want to hear the being stressed or and being stressed. We want to hear the main content being stressed. I have a sentence here I'm going to read for you. I'm going to read it first, stressing every single word equally. This is hard for me to do. I'm going to make an effort to do this. I sent the report to the team. Okay, so I sent the report to the team. I stressed every single word equally. And that was really hard for me to say and probably wasn't very easy for you to understand either. Now I'm going to I'm going to re-say that sentence, and I'm only going to stress the verbs, the nouns. So I sent the report to the team. Do you hear the difference? I sent the report to the team. And again, we do kind of speed up those non-content words and we lower our voice or we stretch out those content words, but it does make a big difference. This is important. So tune your ear into how people speak. And then when you're giving a presentation or you're preparing some sentences for an interview or a meeting, get the sentence, highlight each of those content words, highlight the verbs, the adjectives, the adverbs, the nouns, highlight those. Practice saying it so you're not saying and the and in and with the same stress as an important word. That's a really big one. Okay, next one is intonation. This is your voice movement, the rising and falling in speech, the rising and falling of pitch. This matters because it shows emotion, it shows structure, and it shows the different types of questions. This is incredibly important. I worked with a student years ago preparing for a massive multinational presentation. His English was good. His grammar was good. His pronunciation was good. His intonation was just flat as the prairies. Prairies is a part of the country where they grow lots of crops. It's just a flat land with no mountains. So his intonation was so flat, it was a struggle for me to listen to him. Not because he made mistakes, not because his pronunciation was off, because he was lacking intonation. So we need to have a rising intonation for yes and no questions. Did you finish the task? Did you finish the task? So that's a rising intonation for a yes or no question. For a statement, if you're saying something's important, you're going to go down. I sent the email. I sent the email. I'm going down. And a rise and fall if you're giving someone a choice. Would you like to sign the contract today or tomorrow? Would you like to sign the contract today or tomorrow? So having these little bits of intonation is going to help so much. Again, I could take a simple sentence in English and I could say, I'm going to say this with one intonation. I have a new black pen and it's very useful. I have a new black pen and it's very useful. Oh, that was boring even for me. It made me yawn. So I said perfect pronunciation, perfect English, but the intonation was completely flat, that it wasn't interesting for you. And when it's not interesting, you're not going to try to hear me. I have a new black pen that's very nice and useful. So I have a new black pen. See, I'm stressing black pen, the adjective and noun. That's very nice and useful. It's a statement, so I'm going down, right? So there's the following intonation for statements. That's very useful. Great. Okay, the next one here is vowel sounds. Vowel sounds are for short versus long vowels. This, I need to make a video on this because this is huge. This is a really big one for so many people who speak English as a second language. Whereas an I in English and a double E in English are night and day for us. They're completely different. This is like live, leave, this, these. So this needs to be a video of its own because this is a huge part of English pronunciation. So why this is so important, this is not accent at all. If I pronounce sit like seat, I'm saying a different word. So it's not accent. This is pronunciation. And if you're mispronouncing the I and saying it with an I with a long E, you're saying a different word. Hit, heat, ship, sheep, sit, seat. So these are very different words. This is a really, really tricky one for a lot of people. I will do a complete video on this one day when I have time, and we'll focus in on the vowel short and long. There's lots of vowel issues that are hard for a lot of students. This is the biggest one for most students. For people whose whose native language is Spanish, Italian, French, Russian, Arabic, German, a lot of people struggle with this I and long E. So I'll do a video on it. Okay, so the next one is consonant clusters. Clusters means a group of something. And as you know English, I mean, spelling in English does not match the pronunciation in English. And so a lot of this pronunciation can be very difficult for people to appreciate and to embrace because it's not really logical and it's pretty difficult. One thing about consonant clusters is when we have quite a few consonants together where we're not pronouncing the vowel that's in between them, then we kind of bring it together. For example, asked, asked. So A-S-K-E-D, asked. And so it almost sounds like A-S-T, asked, but it's asked. There's a little K in there. And this is pretty tricky. The best way to work with this one is to really slow down, work on repetition drills, highlight it, separate different syllables. This really matters because often non-native English speakers will actually skip these, or they won't pronounce the entire word. Another one would be clothes. So clothes. There is an E in there. We don't pronounce the E. So you're going TH to S, which I know is really difficult for a lot of people. Clothes. And it almost sounds like close the door, but it does have that THS, clothes. So that's a whole other one, consonant clusters. Again, I think on each of these points I'm going over with you, I'll have to do a video on each and every single one. But this is a good overview. And so you can identify, oh yeah, this is hard for me. This is hard for me. That's easy for me. So when I do those videos, you can go in and focus in on exactly what you need. You're probably going to be aware of if you can say clothes or not, and if this is difficult for you or not. And if it is difficult, then you can go into Google and get tips. There's lots of great videos on YouTube, and I will make a video in the future. Otherwise, this gives you a nice surface of big parts of pronunciation that most of my ESL global students struggle with. Okay, next one, we're still dealing with consonants, and these are the dropped final consonants. Shout out to all my Andalusian people in the south of Spain, Andalusia, famous for dropping the end of the word, especially the end of the consonant. Well, in English, if you drop the end consonant, if you drop the end of the word, you're not saying the word correctly. And often we'll conjugate a verb, he works every day. If I don't pronounce that S after the K and say he work every day, I'm making a very basic beginner grammar mistake. So sometimes people do make pronunciation mistakes that for someone who of a higher level of English or a native speaker will think, oh, you don't know that grammar? That's a very basic grammar mistake, but they would never make that mistake writing. They know it, but they're not pronouncing the end of the word. So it's very important to go through and pronounce your words correctly. In English, unlike, and I can say Andalusia because I live in Andalusia, and the end of the word is just gone. It flies away with the wind. So it's a struggle for me to understand Andalusian Spanish. But for people in Andalusia and other parts of the world where you don't pronounce the word right to the end, in English, it's really going to be a struggle for you because people are going to assume your grammar is very low. And whereas, again, you wouldn't make these mistakes if you were writing, but you're making them speaking. You have to say the end of the word. I would say in English, the beginning of the word and the end of the word almost hold equal importance. Whereas in a lot of cultures or languages, not so much the end. But in English, you need to. So I could say, I email you. Well, that's not good English. I emailed you. But if you decide to skip that d, I emailed you, or I email you. Well, email you is wrong. I'm not hearing the D, therefore you did not conjugate the verb. It's a very basic grammar mistake. But again, some people make this just because they're not pronouncing the end of the word. So be careful, make sure you pronounce the end of the word as well as the beginning of the word. Okay, another one, linking sounds. Now, linking sounds is when you link words together for fluent speech. So if you don't link words together, your speech is going to be quite choppy. I have a black pen. It is new. I have a black pen. It is new. It is, right? Not it is new. It is new. So bringing words together really helps a lot. So instead of saying turn off the light, turn off the light, turn off the light. We kind of take the N from the turn and throw it on with the off. Turn off the light. I'll do an entire video on this. And this is really going to help. Anytime we contract in English, whether it's grammatical contraction, like I am to I'm, or this, we're bringing these together. This does help make your English a lot more fluent, linking these sounds, linking these words. I'm going to go on teaching English. I'm going to go on teaching English. Go on. Now that O hops, doubles itself and goes again, kind of turns into a W with the on. So turn off, turn off, turn off. Go on changes to go on, go on. It's funny. It's a strange language, but we do this. And just by going through and getting some common collocations, a lot of these are phrasal verbs, and pronouncing them correctly and throw it into your speech. Just practice it. Practice makes perfect. I know this is such an old saying, but it truly does. The more you repeat with this, it will just become second nature for you. Second nature is something that comes out very naturally. Again, I will do a video on this one day, but at least we're kind of identifying different parts of pronunciation that's important. And if you find you already do this, don't worry about it. But if you find I do need to look into this, look into it. Go into ChatGPT, go into Google, go into other YouTube videos and look at this and research a little bit about linking sounds in English. There's lots of great videos out there. And again, I'll do a video one day on this too. Okay, the next one ties in with the previous one. This is contractions and reductions. So a contraction is instead of saying I am, you say I'm. Instead of saying I do not, you say I don't. Instead of saying I would, you say I'd. This is really important. Even in formal English, in spoken formal English, people are almost always contracting. And contracting is very important. It matters because native speakers contract consistently. And it's very strange for us when someone does not contract because we're thinking, why are they stressing that word? It's just it's a weird stress if you're not contracting. So this is very important. Another one would be, so this is contracting, the first one. And the other would be reductions. Instead of saying, you have to call me later, you have to call me later, you have to call me later, have to. And again, if I was to write have to, and I'm going to write it here on the side. If I write have to, I mean, it sounds very slang. It looks very slang. It's not. So if I'm giving even a very formal presentation, as a company, we have to look at our last quarter results. As a company, we have to look at our last quarter results. I didn't say have to, I said have to, and it sounded perfect and professional. So there's a whole slew means a lot. There's a whole slew of vocabulary that can absolutely be reduced. And it, again, written, it looks like I'm not saying that, that's slang. It's not, it's perfectly fine. I will do a lesson on it one day and I'll go through a long list of it. Actually, after this video, I will put together a little PDF you can download and I'll give a lot more examples of this as well. Okay, next one is some sound pairs that can be problematic for some people. So this could be depending on where you're coming from. I mean, some languages don't have the same letters that we have in English. Some languages don't have the same sounds that we have in English. So this can be difficult. For some cultures, the difference between right and light, or very and berry, or wary and very. Those are all, and again, this is not just pronunciation. You're saying a different word. Sip or ship. Some cultures don't use the SH. Think or sink. The TH shouldn't be an S, it has to be a th. So this is huge. This is huge. Again, this is going to be another video, but listen to me as I say these. And if you think, oh yeah, I do these ones, note that down. This is part of pronunciation that you need to work on. When it comes to pronunciation, I always tell my students, your best teacher is not me. Your best teacher is your ear. That's your best teacher. Your ear has heard more perfect English than your brain can ever remember. Your ear is your biggest teacher. So, and what we work on a lot in pronunciation in my classes is ear training. So we drill, and drill means to repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat something so much that it becomes so common and second nature for you. Second nature means natural. So as your ear training, and your ear will pick up, oh, didn't sound right. I said, I think we should go for lunch. No, I think we should go for lunch. So even if your mouth is behind with pronunciation, because muscle memory is a big deal. It takes a long time to change those muscles in your mouth. If you've been mispronouncing a word for 10, 20 years, it's going to take time to rewire your mouth and have that new muscle memory. But your ear can pick it up going, oh, I said this instead of this. So your ear can help you, and then you can correct yourself. And it's a whole process you can go through in perfecting your pronunciation. And this works so well when it comes to little bits of problematic sound pairs from your language into English. Okay, next one is pacing and pausing. So pacing is the rhythm, how fast you walk, how fast you speak. That's your pace, whether it's fast or it's slow. Pausing is pausing, taking a break. So pacing is important. If you're watching this video, you're going to be upper intermediate to advanced ESL, no question. So as you're at this great level, B2, C1 level, this is fantastic. You're going to have great vocabulary, great grammar. You're going to be fluent, which means you're going to be speaking quickly. Well, speaking quickly is not a good thing in English. The quicker you speak in English, pronunciation bottoms out. Bottoms out means it just goes right to the bottom. Pronunciation is not good, even if you're a C1 level, advanced level. If you speak too quickly, little small mistakes will be bigger and will come up. So you want to speak slowly. You want to pace yourself. Again, I did a whole video on speaking in English and speaking up in English, and I do have a whole part of the video focused on pacing and pausing. And this is so important because you really do need to speak slowly so people can follow you. And when there's something important, you want to pause. I did it on purpose. I could say, and when there's something important, you want to pause. I said it all fast with no pause. And pause. If there's something important, pause. You want to pause. So look at there how I put two big pauses in there. Really important. Speaking slower is more advanced in English. I know it doesn't feel exciting because you start off at an intermediate level or beginner level and you're speaking slow and you want to get that fluency and talk really fast to people and be really, really fluent in English and speak really quickly. It's not going to help you. And again, I teach business English. It's not professional. If anyone who speaks well in business, even native speakers, we speak slowly and we pause. It's very important. Okay, next one we have here is tone and emphasis. Now, when it comes to tone, if you have a really high tone in business English, you're speaking really high, it does not command respect. Okay, I said that quickly and I said that in a really high tone. I'm going to slow it down and bring it to a lower tone. If you're speaking low in English, it does command respect and it's easier for people to listen to you and understand what's important. So this is what tone is. Now, when it comes to tone, if there's a certain word that you need to emphasize, you're going to say that one word slower and you're going to bring it down in tone. There's a really great exercise I'm going to do with you guys. Now, there's a sentence. I'm going to write it over here. I told you I need the green pen. Simple sentence. But this sentence can have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. There's 8 words in that sentence. The sentence can have 8 different meanings depending on what word you emphasize. So for example, I can say, I told you I need the green pen. I told you, not Peter. I told you I need the green pen. I told you I need the green pen, meaning, yes, I did tell you. I didn't write it. I told you. So I'm emphasizing told. I told you I need the green pen. I didn't tell Maria. I told you I need the green pen. I told you I need the green pen. Why did you give the green pen to Xavier? I need the green pen. I told you I need the green pen. I didn't want it next week. I need the green pen now, today. I told you I need the green pen. Why did you bring me 4? I needed 1. I told you I need the green pen. I told you I need the green pen. Why did you bring me a black pen? I told you I need the green pen. I told you I need the green pen. Why did you bring me a green pencil? I told you I need the green pen. So this is a great example of how just your tone and emphasis can totally change a sentence meaning. So this is just a surface of a little lesson of all the little bits of pronunciation that are quite tricky for ESL speakers working in global business English. Again, some of these may not be an issue for you. Some of them could be an issue for you. All of them could be an issue for you. What I'll do is I will go through them one by one and dive deep in them and make a bigger lesson. But at least hopefully today you were able to identify if some of these are issues that you do have. And if you find that you speak good English and you're using the right words, but people are not understanding you, or they're going, they have that look on their face, that look of pain because they're struggling to understand you, this is probably one of the issues that you're having. Again, it's not necessarily your vocabulary or grammar. It's going to be pronunciation that's making it difficult for people to understand what you're saying. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, I encourage you to like it and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.